Welcome to part 2 of Lolcow battles, where we delve into the similarities of two different Lolcows and see who does what better. Today's episode will be featuring the true and honest warrior of Quickville, Christian Weston Chandler, going head to head with his maybe successor, the Goblin of Akron, Chance Wilkins, better known as Cyrax. Last time we left off, the score ended up being 2-1 favoring Chris, making him the winner of round 1, keeping his title of top Lolcow of the internet. Just like last time, we're going to have our tally marks to show who's in the lead, and if you haven't checked out part 1, please give it a watch, it's on my channel. Well, without making this intro too long, let's get right back into it and see if Rax has what it takes to overthrow Chris at his own game.
Do not redeem! Do not redeem the card! What? Do not redeem the card!
It's been well documented by great content creators such as Gino Samuel, Gamer from Mars, Base Shaman, and Rogue Internet Man that Chris has had his fair share of run-ins with the law. From the harassment of women, the harassment of hardworking game store managers and employees, down to taking his dementia-ridden mother, Barb, to Funky Town.
Action!
Hello, my name is Barbara Chandler. I wish to wish Nicholas Cruz happy birthday.
Yay!
Please, buy Christine Chandler's merchandise to help us pay the mortgage. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And where do we buy this stuff from? My eBay.
Buy on eBay.
Christian's arrests have been nothing short of spectacular throughout the decades, and made Chris completely resent law enforcement and most authority figures.
I'm working for an hourly wage. I went to high school, didn't do great.
Not tonight, sweetie. You've had Chef every night this week.
But I love Chef.
Dude, looks like you could use one of these.
His first arrest, dating all the way back to September 11, 2004, where Chris was detained at Charlottesville Fashion Square for loitering and harassing female patrons, is not only his first run-in with jerk cops, but also one of the most hilarious Chris quirks of all time. If you didn't notice, this event happened on 9/11, the infamous day where tragedy struck in New York City, as two hijacked Boeing 767s collided with the World Trade Center. In Chris's mind, this day isn't remembered for that horrible event like most Americans, but in fact for the day that 5 jerk cops wrestled him to the ground, wrongfully detained him, and embarrassed him in front of everybody, which is just fantastic. And it kind of reminds me of this picture of Mariah Carey smiling at McDonald's, enjoying a meal the day after 9/11, which is so funny to me. I don't know why, but anyways. Chris has never been able to see his flaws and shortcomings, opting to say that the way he does things for the most part is perfect, thus never improving on anything he's put his mind to. This mindset of never seeing his wrongdoings isn't just a horribly annoying and backwards way of coping with life, but this also has the impact of Chris blaming police officers, security guards, school faculty, or anyone else of an authoritative stature for wrangling him rather than blaming himself for his own actions, and Chris did this well into adulthood. As we know, Chris has also assaulted people on numerous occasions, like the poor GameStop employee who had rustled and disturbed Chris, maced in retaliation for Sonic's arms being blue, or the time he tried to hit Michael Snyder with his car after Michael caught him taking pictures of his daughter. Chris decided to make a trek up to the game place once again, even though he had been banned for numerous years, this time armed with his camera, which he used to take pictures, like I said, of Michael's daughter and Michael himself. After Michael caught him in the act, he decided to chase him out of the store, which is scared and disheveled Chris ran away, got back to his car, and tried to drive off. Obviously, Mr. Schneider was not about to just let Chris leave, so he decided to call the police and chase after him as well. Now, by Chris's account, he says Schneider jumped on the car. Mr. Schneider says that he was in the parking lot and Chris tried to drive away and almost hit him with the car.
Because I had a camera in my possession right then, I had the impulse of, hey, I'll go over to the place and take a picture of Michael Snyder so that I can print it out later and use it as a dartboard. So that's just basically what happened. So then I drove over to the parking lot of the place in front of Staples, and then I made my way to the window to take a picture of him and nobody else. Right to the store window. Through the store window, just him. And I was not alone there in front of the window. There was another dude who was apparently on his side and recognized me. He wanted to start a fight, but in a fight or flee, I decided to flee. So I went to my car, but then ran in and got Michael, and then Michael jumped in front of my car. He jumped in front of my car. As a matter of fact, he jumped onto the top of my hood. He was looming over my windshield. It was horrifying. So I backed my car up. He jumped in front of my car again, risking his own life. I could have been going top speed. He was lucky he didn't get hurt, as far as I know. But I did not run him over. Jumped in front of my car, so I back up. And then I try going around. And then this woman, I do not know who the blank she is. She jumps in front of my car, so I stop again. And then I start backing up, and then I get stuck from behind, and then I'm trapped between police and Michael and whoever the hell this woman was. So then I sorted out with the police. They deleted the pictures, and the woman came to me right up front and accused me of things like, see naked pictures on me on the internet, and then accused me of child pornography. I am not a pornographer of any sort. And also, Michael just basically loomed into me, and he just basically shouted from me, "You're dead! You're dead! Andrew!"
Even though Chris tried to do the O.J. Simpson dash, he was stopped by police. They questioned him and asked why he was taking pictures, which Chris said he was only trying to take pictures of Michael to use on a dartboard, which in and of itself is worth a trip to a mental institution, but let's move on. The cops didn't do much except make Chris delete the photos and leave the premises, which is unfortunate considering he hit Mr. Snyder with a vehicle. And then Chris tried to say that Mr. Snyder was at fault for the situation in the first place, which makes no sense. As for the GameStop situation, this is probably Chris's biggest and most famous run-in with the law. Well, other than the Barb situation, where Chris, who was upset at the newest released Sonic game at the time, Sonic Boom, where the company decided to change Sonic's arms from a flesh color to a blue fur color, went to a GameStop and caused havoc. He did his own rendition of peaceful protesting, where he printed out covers of the Sonic Boom game, where he fixed Sonic's arms to the original flesh color, and decided to go into the store and take the original game covers out of the cases and replace them with his own. So obviously you can't do that, whether you're having a tar rage or not. So the employees decided to kick him out and call for security. This made Chris even more upset, where he then decided to run out of the store, and on his way out decided to pepper spray an employee who was just minding his own business, while saying the hilarious line, "Don't call anybody," in his high-pitched nasally voice that he claims he doesn't have. Now, I was in high school when this happened, and I already been watching Chris for quite some time before that. But this is when my friend group decided to find out who the Chris Chan was, just because it was just so bizarre that a man decided to do this over Sonic the Hedgehog. Which, might I add, you know what? I like the Sonic Boom design, and I like Knuckles and Sonic and Amy and the raccoon badger chick design. What is her name? I like her. I just can't remember her name.
Oh God, you make me buzz. You make me buzz.
I like the design, and you know what, Chris Chan? It's not canon anyways, so calm the fuck down. But you know, he doesn't like that word. Back to the thing. The GameStop pressed charges on Chris, and after a weekend in jail, Chris was charged with a Class 6 felony, which he posted a $2,500 bail and was released later on. On the other hand, we have Cyraxx, who calls the police constantly begging something be done about the horrible trolls online. Time and time again, the good men and women of Akron's police department have shown up to 339 Lloyd Street only to say the same things to Cyraxx, hear the same things from Cyraxx, and waste more police resources. Cyraxx's known legal issues are that in which he assaulted his grandmother, Thick as Grit Sally, in 2012, and which he was arrested for. Sally couldn't bear the thought of Cyraxx getting the Blind Billy special in prison, so she bailed him out. Which takes a severe amount of motherly empathy to do that for Cyraxx, or a severe amount of stupidity. I'm gonna assume it's the latter because we're dealing with 43s here. This obviously taught Cyraxx nothing about the consequences of his actions and just reaffirmed his behavior, and is probably one of the biggest reasons we have what we're dealing with today. Some details about this arrest, which I'm sure you already know. This assault happened because Cyraxx wanted to go to his catfish of a girlfriend's house across state lines. Because Cyraxx is afraid of driving a car, even though he claims he grew up in the car scene, he's never gotten a license. He wanted Sally to drive him, she said no, and Cyraxx then said he was going to walk miles to see his girlfriend, and Sally forbade him of doing so. This enraged Cyraxx, and when Sally turned her back, he attacked her and beat her pretty badly. Not like a hard shove of anger that you would expect from, like, you know, a son to a mother, even if that was gonna happen. Like, obviously don't do that ever, and if you do, you're a fucking scumbag. But you wouldn't expect, you know, a full-blown assault on his fucking grandma. His other offending run-in with the law was fairly recent, in which a man who goes by the name of Aware of Myself went to his house, legally protested Cyraxx's wrongdoings while standing on the sidewalk, causing Cyraxx's ant-sized brain to snap like usual. He walked out of the house with a deadly weapon, a bat, went onto the sidewalk where Aware of Myself was standing, and took a couple swings in his direction, doing -2 damage. Now, even though Cyraxx is known to talk shit to police on his streams, calling them out countless times and sometimes antagonizing them, he still has no problem calling them and begging them for help every time he gets a chance to. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with calling the police if you genuinely need them, but calling them 113 plus times while simultaneously talking shit to them every moment you get, and claiming to be a thug and a badass rapper, is beyond fucking stupid and irritating, but also quite entertaining, I might add. So keep doing it, Cyraxx. It's pretty funny when we get those calls, and thank you, William Gloryhole, for getting the calls in the body cam for us. This incident led to Cyraxx getting charged once again, where we got this disgusting mugshot right here. But once again, Sally posted his bond and he was released. Now, he does have an upcoming court date, so it's not officially over yet. Let's pray for the worst for him, because that would be so funny to see him freak out. He's been doing these like streams, like these call out streams, and he's just kind of incriminating himself like a retard.
See, what y'all don't understand is that I was in the right in what I did. I had every right to do what I fucking did. Every right. Because what that man used on that sign was fighting words. Those words are considered a fucking weapon. What he did is called vigilantism, which is a fucking crime. That's illegal. Not to mention starting a fucking riot. To where half my neighborhood came down my street and attacked me and my family. It may not have been physical attacks, but they were still attacks nonetheless. And I'm not allowed to sit here and be silent. Because what that man did was wrong. Now, should I have come out there with a bat? Not necessarily. But when you show up to my dwelling and my house, and you commit vigilantism after inciting a freaking riot and using fighting words on a sign, those fighting words are considered a weapon. Don't believe me? Look it up. What that man did was incite a riot, used fighting words, and then backed it all up with vigilantism, trying to make himself to be the good guy and me the bad guy. Not to mention the police acting unprofessional as f***. Sitting there not giving me a chance to frickin' explain what went down, or get my side of the story. They were being prejudiced against me. If anybody deserves to be in jail, it's that motherfucker that showed up here, not me. He first stepped foot in our yard, which gave me every right to do what I motherfucker did. Not to mention, he came there to incite a riot. He came there to be a vigilante. He came there using fighting words, which gave me every reason to do what I did. Did I want to? No. But when you show up here, you use fighting words, you pretend to be a vigilante, and you try to incite a riot against me and my family, guess what? I have every right to do what I need to do to protect my family and my people and my dwelling. So to the Akron PD, screw you. You guys are crooked as fuck. You guys are prejudiced against me. All you ever do is sit there and laugh at me. Like I don't fucking matter because I ain't got one.
So let's hope he keeps doing that. Now, since this topic is for the hatred of authority, and while Cyraxx hates being told what to do by authority, he doesn't hate them enough to stop calling them and begging for help. Chris, on the other hand, has full-blown freakouts at the sight and thought of interacting with authority. From his time in elementary school, high school, PVCC, smelly conventions, and copious amounts of arrest, he's always hated them. And like I said before, he's even ran from them on numerous occasions and also gave them the finger. So this point goes to Chris Chan.
What are you doing? Nothing. What's going on? Dad, will you get out of here? No, I will not.
Now this next topic is pretty dark, but there's no hiding that Lolcows tend to be complete deviants. Jared Genesis, Daniel Larson, Dahi Vanity, Lauren Armstrong, Joseph Strickland, Chibi Necodemics, Cord Kitty, Sappho, Carol the Wolf, Pamper Chew, furries in general, the list goes on, especially for furries.
All the single furries, all the single furries, all the single furries. Now put your paws up. I'm just a pop-up, don't know how to stop shaking my...
Anyways, our top 2 Lolcows are a part of that list as well. We all have goals in life. Some want to be doctors, others want to be entertainers, some do it for money and fame, and others do it just because. Chris, on the other hand, does things in the name of love, or at least his twisted view of what love actually is. Chris's sole purpose in life was to find a boyfriend-free, smoke-free, alcohol-free, white girl who's financially stable. And if you're not familiar with how Chris went about that, it started off as him harassing any young lady that would give him any sort of attention. A lot of Twitter always try to say that the trolls are the ones who made Chris the way he is, but he was already harassing women before the trolls ever got near him. The most known example of this is his old gal pal Megan, which I'm just gonna go out and say that I feel so sorry for her because she didn't ask for any of this. Her name is just synonymous with his forever now. She was just a girl who liked Wehrmacht soldiers and, you know, Sailor Moon, who met this fucking. Anyways, he couldn't keep his hands off of her, and he sent her love emails 24/7. And the worst part is that even when Megan said, "Hey, stop harassing me," you may not see it as that, but that's what you're doing, and it is harassment. She made herself very clear. Chris continued to harass her, which obviously isn't cool. At one point, he even went as far as to draw a lewd picture of him fingering her, which I believe was the final straw for Megan, and she completely cut him out of her life. Also, side note, I'm not sure where I saw this or heard this, but I vividly remember somebody saying that that picture drives them mad because the smile that Chris has on his face is such a shit-eating grin, as like, look at what I'm doing. And I completely agree. It's something about that picture and that video of him talking about the picture that makes you want to wring his neck like you disgusting sex pest weirdo. And not even to mention the name of it. It's such a condescending piece of shit name. She Came for Quick. Like, what he had to have read that off a porn website or something and just put it in this drawing, because like, dude, seriously.
The hatred I'm getting from every last one of you who has contributed to that Encyclopedia Dramatica webpage. And every other forum, internet document, lewdly drawn pictures with dicks. I love dykes. Dykes. China. I'm straight. If I see a dick, I just look away with a moment of being freaked out. And emailing me pictures is not going to get any of you any further conclusion to, will Crystal get out of the mirror? Will the 7 Science balls be collected? Will I ever find my sweetheart? And am I or Megan Shore still on Iron? Which, by the way, she broke up with me so much long ago because the contributors to that ED page, you broke the emotional strength between us. You promoted such twists and turns to everything I have said and drawn and written and whatnot. You broke up the best friendship, the best relationship, the closest I could ever have in this pitiful adult life. You did it! Every last one of you. If I could blame myself, I would definitely blame myself for drawing those 5 pictures. Those 5 drawings. And by the way, that is not Crystal, whose eyes are censored. That is Megan. And just for taking it up and twisting it around as such. Think about it. Think about it. Lay on your conscience. If I ever do find the one that is to be my sweetheart, I will give her such care, such tenderness, such love. We get around to hanky-panky, that's fine. That's good. We get married. I will have my God called daughter. She will be taken care of lovingly. Those of you who mock me otherwise with such frivolous, lucrative adultery, if I ever hear any more new stuff, it will weigh on your conscience with me tearing at your souls emotionally. I am not a pedo fork, you dorks!
It's the stupidest shit ever. Oh my goodness gracious, Chris, you disgusting weirdo. He not only did this to women in his immediate vicinity, but also to countless women online as well. If you remember, Chris on Twitter would mention these female voice actors, animators, and artists like Doopy Doo-Over and others in compromising posts, calling them his girlfriends, calling them pet names you would say to a lover, and pretending as if he actually knew them, to their extreme dismay. These actions will make them call out Chris, and some even refunded money that Chris had donated to them while vigorously telling him to leave them alone. All this built up tension will cause these animators and voice actors to block Chris on Twitter. Once finding out that he had been blocked, Chris would then lash out and have even more mental breakdowns online, claiming that he meant nothing by it and that they should just accept what he was saying to them and stop being mean to him.
Hello everybody, this is Christine Chandler coming to you live from home and just addressing, you know who you are, my fellow bronies and Pegasisters who blocked me on Twitter. Just so many details. I mean, the obvious big thing, among which is the bad, outdated reputation I had that's like 12 years old nearly. Seriously. 2007. No, Joel's been hating on me since then. And they're the ones that they made me do all that. They deceived me, blackmailing, all that. I would never have done any of those things that I am very shameful of today if they had not gotten involved. I'm just as trolled and bullied as some to most of y'all. I'm serious about that. I mean, I know, and I don't want to dox anybody accidentally. I know one gets hated so much she just totally out, and that's how I'm feeling. Too much of it. And she's been on YouTube since 2012. I've been online since 2007. I could teach her how to be like Stonewall Jackson to every single troll bully, except for more recently where everybody started blocking me, and it became more and more and more and more and more and more and more, and the rejection just killed put this mind in my body so much that my soul does not want to return home from CY97, where all of our OCs actually do exist, coexist, and everything. And harassment. I do not harass anyone. The only things I do on Twitter are kindness and supportive type commentary. You look at my history on my one main Twitter account, you would have seen, before all this chaos, you would have seen nothing but positives. And you look at the last few comments left y'all before you started blocking me. Positives. And among which, those haters and harassers, they used outdated, and partially counting the stuff that was deceived on me last year during those 6 months by freaking idea guy, Stephen Boyd. They con $6,000 on me. You think I'm not upset about that either? I'm upset about that. And I'm upset about all the rejection I'm getting from the people I like. I'm a fan of each and every one of you. I'm serious. I like your art style. I like the way you do in your shows and everything. Very serious about that, and I'm sorry for offending each and every one of you. But I ask, I gotta get my mental sanity back, so please unblock me. Please unblock me. I'm very, very sorry for everything, for offending each and every one of you. Super serious. All those damn trolls and damn haters and harassers, they've been ruining my life since 2007. 2007.
Alright, look. I have a hard time trying to decipher what the fuck Chris is talking about half the time, especially modern day Chris. I don't even like watching him because it makes me want to throw up. But what the fuck was that at the end there, dude? Like bro, what is he doing? I'm trying to listen and understand what he's even talking about, but I jumped out of my seat. I recoiled so much. That was disgusting. I don't know what it was. Now obviously this is bad and you shouldn't be doing that to random women online, or anyone online, or in person for that matter. This is nowhere near the worst thing that Chris has ever done sexually. He's been known to drink his own fluids after mixing it with Fanta, because he believed that men were born with a limited amount of semen in their body. Jesus Christ. Just a heads up, I'm gonna put the picture on screen, so if you don't want to see, close your eyes. Boom, oh no. There it is. Ew, get the fuck out of here. On to the next one. Considering that Chris was a self-proclaimed virgin with rage, sex obviously plays a huge role in his life, even though he never really had it that often. I think maybe well, actually, I can't even count that because the fucking Barb thing, never mind. Well, aside from Barb, I think he had it maybe a total of 2 or 3 times, maybe? I know he got a prostitute once or twice. That's about it. But when it came to his sweethearts online, he had copious amounts of cyber sex, which obviously isn't the deviant part. The deviant part is if you ever notice what he's saying to people or what he's doing on the side, that's what makes it deviant. Like him freezing his semen to send to a lesbian couple and just putting in his own kitchen refrigerator. I don't know how freezing semen works, but I'm pretty sure it's not that. He talked a big game about being a one-girl man, about how his whole life consisted on finding a sweetheart, but at a slight proposition for a threesome, he jumped at that, so the sweetheart shit went right out the window for that. And then he ended up getting a troll sweetheart, and immediately cheats on her with who he thinks is Vanessa Hudgens, and he has cyber sex with her, and just completely ruins the relationship immediately. And that right there is just pure evidence of him not being able to control his urges, which is quite dangerous for someone like Chris. Not to mention him stealing his mother's underwear and wearing it like he's straight out of the fucking Hills Have Eyes or something like that. Some disgusting backwater slasher movie. Or the time he had phone sex with Casey, and after finishing, he said that he was gonna lick it off of her face, to even where she was stunned and appalled and just had to go with it to keep the meme alive.
Let me take a guess. You want me to caress your breasts?
That's one of them, but I wanted to do something, a little more adventurous. I mean, I can't believe you forgot because you seem so excited.
I am. I'm so excited. I just can't hide it.
I guess I'll forgive you this time. But you know, I totally, absolutely wanted you to tie me up and just let me be at your mercy. I mean, doesn't that sound awesome?
Oh yeah, that does sound fucking awesome.
Okay, well since I told you that, now you have to tell me what you're gonna do to me, 'cause come on, you know I love it when you talk dirty to me.
Talk dirty to me.
Oh God, please do.
Oh yeah.
Do it for your sweet little Casey case.
Oh yeah. You're just gonna love this. You know, I'll be presenting myself to you. You'll be loving my dick. It's so big and all that, you know. And I'll be putting it between your tits while you're all tied up.
Oh my God, that sounds so good. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like crying because it sounds so wonderful. Keep telling me more.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let that go.
I'm starting to actually touch my tits right now, so just keep telling me more, Chris. Keep telling me more.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna keep banging your breasts over and over again until I give you a first dosage of my comeuppance.
Oh my God, I can't wait to lick it off. It's gonna be so hot. Oh, this is the Chris I know and love. Thank you.
And then you know what? I'm gonna lick it off your face, and then we're gonna share it in our tongue sharing moment.
Now look, I know everybody's got their thing, but it's like he hasn't even had sex yet and he's already propositioning that, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's something that you do maybe 10, 15, 20 years down the line when shit gets boring to you, you know what I mean? Like, also I don't hate Casey like a lot of, you know, people do. It's just, I just still find these calls so hard to get through. It's been like, what, 10 plus years or so. I still can't listen to it without pausing 50 times. It's just so much of this stuff that we can talk about when it comes to Chris, but then we'd be here forever. So I'm going to just get along with it. I believe Chris's deviancy stems from a mix of bad parenting, being a social outcast, and his own ability to not acknowledge any of his wrongdoings, making the boundaries that he oversteps not even register in his mind. This would only progress further into disgusting acts perpetuated by Chris and lead him to the magnum opus of all Chris's foul acts, soul bonding with Barb. Fuck it. Yeah, it's fucking nasty. Now some people still argue why this occurred in the first place. Is Chris a natural born rapist? Was he groomed by his own mother like some of the evidence states happened in the past? Was this the result of sexual frustration due to puberty and his shortcomings with the ladies? In my opinion, it was a mixture of all those things, but even if it was, no matter what, it's still Chris's fault and only Chris's fault. Nobody did anything to make him act the way that he does. I know a lot of people blame Isabella Jank, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't think she had anything to do with Chris and soul bonding his mom, because if I remember correctly, it was already occurring and she's just the one who leaked it. Now I'm not saying she's not weird, she's definitely weird, but I still see a lot of people blame her for Chris doing this, and that's, in my opinion, that's fucking stupid. No, Chris, the way that Chris has always worked is that he has an idea that he wants to do what is in his head, and he's always waiting for the attack. He's always waiting for the right thing to go along. So people say, oh, she encouraged it. He was gonna do it regardless. I think when she encouraged it, it was just like his way of saying, oh yeah, it doesn't matter. If she says it's okay, then I can do it. It's like his God complex, you know what I mean? He's always waiting for someone to give him the okay, but he's gonna do it anyways because that's just how he is. You can't tell him, I mean, you can tell him to not do something, but all he's gonna do is argue with you because he wants to do it, you know, because nobody ever told him no except for strangers. And whenever strangers would tell him no, his parents would back him up and say, no, he's autistic, he can do what he wants. Like with the manager calling, or the fake manager calling his dad about him being at the game place again, and the dad, whoa, he's getting trolled online. The fuck's that got to do with anything? You? Oh no! Fucking hell, Jesus. Anyways,
your son was trespassing.
Well, he hadn't told him he didn't come in there. It's a business place. Now, Mike and Megan are the ones that conspired together with a couple of other people, kids there I think were gay, to persecute and torment Christian for years. Okay, I don't like Mike. I'd like to talk to the owner of the store. I could really fill him about the people he employs there. Okay, I could tell him a lot.
Well, regardless of that, sir, I don't know about any of that. All I know is that your son was banned
that
from the
all
store and he
figures into
trespassed.
this stuff. That all figures into this stuff. It certainly shouldn't.
But I just called to...
It certainly should.
Sir, I called to inform you. I called to inform you that even though the police came and made your son sign a trespassing notice, that he continued to harass our store online. That's what I called to inform you.
People are harassing him from all over the world. Let me tell you something, fella. You know what some damn crazy fools that I think started at your store with Megan and Mike and 2 or 3 more? You know what they just did a week ago? They just broke into his checking account, got his checking account numbers and routing numbers. They broke into his Best Buy MasterCard number, and they stole his ID and all of his password information. They went into that Best Buy checking account trying to ruin his credit and made a payoff on a check that had no funds in the checking account, which got him a whole bunch of non-sufficient fund fees. Now, this all transpired a week ago. Now, I'm not going to listen to your petty stuff, okay? You have people, including Mike, and I could tell you 2 more names, but I can't think of them right now, but the third one is Megan, and I'm sure you've heard of Megan or know Megan right there in the store.
I've heard about Megan.
Yeah,
Sir, I don't understand why
they're
you're
the
not
people that
concerned
are
about your son
terrorizing
trespassing.
Christians. They're the people that are terrorizing Christians, okay?
This really has nothing to do with the gameplay, sir. I just called to
It
inform
has
you about
something
your
to do
son
with the game
trespassing.
place because that's the play. Well, you're from the game place, right?
Sir, the game place didn't break into his bank accounts. I don't know why you're telling me about this.
Well, we think that people that come to your place do, and including one of your employees named
We
Mike.
don't control all our customers.
Including one of your
We don't.
employees named Mike. Now, if you would like to help me talk to your owner, I would be glad to, and my wife would be glad to go to a meeting with him about your place and how it's corrupting the whole neighborhood.
Yo, Bob is so cool. The motherfucker was a rapist. Sorry, racist. Jeez Louise, sorry. He was the only one who would like wrangle Chris though, so I gotta give him that. But other than that, bro, Bob was a weirdo too, shit. Going over to Cyraxx, he's just as bad, if not worse than Chris in this factor. And we all know why. We all know. Yeah, we all know why. There's not a lot on if Cyraxx has always been the way he is sexually, or if it started with the Blind Billy situation. Most of us are familiar with the Blind Billy saga, but if you aren't, Cyraxx on Discord with Tangerine Cat would claim that back in high school while staying at a friend's house due to a power outage, said friend would take advantage of Cyraxx by essaying him in his sleep.
But there was a day where we had some like city people working on our street, and I guess one of them had to cut the power to my street. And the way our streets were was like, we lived on like a street that was like this. So like this whole block was one street, and then down this way was another. So my mom had to work that night, so she was like, hey, why don't you just go ahead and, you know, walk over there to Billy's house with them. And I was like, all right, cool, no problem. You know, I'll go over there, stay the night over there. Not a problem, because, you know, I had school the next day anyway, so I was like, fuck it. Just crash over there, go to school with them next day, whatever. Well, me and him were over there. We did the typical things that you would normally do. Like, we would sit there, play video games, listen to music, annoy the shit out of his older sister. Like, you know, the typical stuff, you know, very typical teenager-esque stuff. Whenever we started passing out, I was like literally the first to fall asleep. I was halfway asleep. I was like, and I didn't know that this was gonna happen. And like next thing I know, I feel something behind me, and I'm like looking around thinking like, oh, that's probably just his dog, because he had a dog that would, you know, come in the room and hang out or whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever, his dog's there, whatever, cool, fine. Let him pass out, I don't give 2 shits. Next thing I know, I feel a fucking arm come around me, and unfortunately, like, I felt my pants get ripped down, and from there, everything happened, and before I knew what happened, I fucking see him on top of me. So as soon as I seen that, I literally reached my elbow around, and I like got him like right here on the jaw, because he was up high enough to where I could, you know, get him. So I fucking reached around, I'm like, yo, get the fuck off me, dude. And he was literally sitting there like, what the fuck?
Later the next day at school, Cyraxx said that he couldn't concentrate, and the night before was still well on his mind. This caused Rax to confront Blind Billy at school, telling Billy to tell everyone the truth of what went down, telling Billy to answer why he had a scar on his lip, earlier stating that he had busted Billy's lip while fighting back during the assault.
And I had even told Billy, I was like, show me your fucking lip where I fucking elbowed your ass. Like, show him. And he was like, no, I don't have to do anything, blah, blah, blah. So we went to school the next day, and he had seen me later that morning and was like, he had wrote a note saying that he was sorry and whatnot, that he didn't mean for that to happen. And at that point, I was just like in complete disgust of like, you know, how can you do that to somebody like that and, you know, be sorry about it? Like, what the fuck?
He would later go on to say that after the school found out about the assault, they decided to expel Cyraxx instead of Billy because, you know, that makes perfect sense.
And the principal didn't enforce it, and unfortunately they had to expel me because he was underage at the time. And the principal was like, look, you know, I kind of figured like this wasn't you, because like he had talked to Billy and Billy's parents and family, and the principal had them take him home. Like, you know, like he took me as being gay when I clearly wasn't. And I had told him this.
Obviously, people started to question these holes in Rex's story, in which he would get very defensive and upset about.
Factual shit that Cyraxx can answer, we can do this, alright?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
It's open.
Well, first and foremost, I've never heard of a rape victim being expelled from school for getting raped.
Well, here's the thing, Marty, and this is what, then a lot of people do get confused on this too. The reason why they expelled me and not him was because of the fact that during the time that it happened, he was 16. I was 17, getting ready to be 18 in about 6 months. And
why didn't Sally call the cops, though, too? Like, that's the other thing that bothers me is about the school.
That should be irrelevant. The age is irrelevant to aggression.
Cyraxx said that he was almost sent to juvenile hall for this.
I actually was, because the security people there had looked at me, they looked at my age, and they were seriously thinking about sending me to juvenile hall.
This behavior prompted the trolls to go as far as tracking down the actual Blind Billy and asking for his side of the story. Music Biz Marty was able to interview Billy, and from his side, most of what Cyraxx said was actually true, except for the part where the roles were reversed and Cyraxx was actually the one who assaulted Blind Billy in his sleep. After this interview and the change of perspective, Cyraxx would get upset like he usually does and end up calling Marty out, saying that he was lying, trying to stir the pot, and he needs to leave the situation alone.
It was already proven by the school that I went to and the police that he did do what he said he did. So Marty, you need to fuck up before I punch you in your goddamn fucking face and put you in the goddamn ground, dude, because I'm fucking tired of your slanderous comments, bro. Like, Marty, you really think that you trying to make me look like a fucking rapist is gonna work? It's not, you fucking dumbass. It's not gonna fucking work, Marty. Like, you think that just because you contacted Billy and got in contact with him, you think that that makes your case better, but it doesn't. You need to let it go. Marty, your futile attempts to make me look like a rapist are just that. they're futile. They're dumb. Like, who in the right mind is going to admit to raping someone, you fucking moron?
Surprisingly enough, telling an extremely dark tale with plot holes, then getting upset at people for asking minor questions about said plot holes, then threatening people with violence if they don't drop the story, tends to have the opposite effect of people actually dropping the fucking story. At this point, being familiar with the fact that Cyraxx is a pathological liar, most people sided with Billy and were now spreading the word that Cyraxx was a bitch just like his father. At one point, Billy and Cyraxx got on panel on Discord and argued with each other over whose story was actually true. I would like to point out that this panel was more of just Cyraxx threatening Billy with the most textbook Predator quirks like saying, "I know where you live, shut your mouth or I'll come hurt you," and calling Billy it the whole time, while Billy just kind of refuted Cyraxx in a very sassy manner.
Fucking tell them the truth, you fucking ass little bitch. Why don't you tell them the truth about what you did to me, you bitch?
I removed him. He's screaming. I hope you're not uncomfortable with that.
That's real mature.
Hey, Billy, you're a fucking liar, you fucking faggot ass little bitch, and you know it. And Bill...
You can't say the F word, Cyraxx. You will not be allowed here.
You know,
if I were you, I wouldn't trust this fucking...
I mean, he's calling you the F word while your dick was in his mouth.
I mean, yeah, but you know...
There you go, Cyraxx. There you go.
Come on, Billy. Why don't you tell them the truth? Tell them the truth about how it was acquitted and how it got let fucking go, you bitch ass. Hey, Billy, tell them the truth, you fucking rapist little bitch.
Acquitted? So, did this ever become criminal?
Tell them the fucking truth, Billy. Tell them the fucking truth. You fucking faggot. You fucking punk ass bitch. Punk. Tell them the goddamn truth, boy.
How annoying.
The fucking truth. And Marty, why don't you...
Yeah, that's the appeal.
It's like a kid on Call of Duty.
That's the appeal.
Billy, listen, bro. You and I both fucking know that the schools removed me for my own safety so I wouldn't beat your goddamn ass after what you fucking did to me, you bitch. You ain't nothing but a fucking ass little loser who honestly deserves to be behind fucking bars like the rapist say you fucking are, you fucking punk ass little bitch. Hey Billy, why don't you tell the fucking truth, you fucking faggot? Tell the truth, you fucking loser. Because you and I both know you're lying through your fucking punk ass teeth. You and I both know that I know you better than any motherfucker. You and I both know that I know you better than anyone. You and I both know that you did that shit to me, you fucking And honestly, Billy, lucky I'm not there right now, because I'd be beating your goddamn ass within an inch of your fucking life, you fucking punk ass little loser. So go ahead, keep running your mouth like the lying little fucking faggot that you are. Go ahead.
No, honestly, get over it. Jeez.
I both know.
You're yourself, because apparently you don't. And trying to swear at me makes you real mature.
And well, you raped me. I did not touch you.
No. You got your story backwards. You raped me, and I remember it completely. So I don't know where you got that.
Whatever, Billy.
Not much really came from this saga other than the truth about what really happened, but of course, like usual, Cyraxx faced little to no repercussions for his actions. I will say some minor details that some people kind of gloss over in this situation. This part isn't proven, but during Kat and Rax's call, Rax states that he still had scratches from the battle with Billy.
I had still had, scratch marks on my arm from where he was trying to keep a hold of me.
Which, knowing what we know now, this makes the situation much more disgusting and horrifying, considering that means Billy fought back and tried to stop Rax. After the school called Sally about the situation, instead of punishing Rax, she spoke with Billy, getting upset with him and saying, "Why tell the school? Why not just tell me so we can avoid trouble?" Which makes you just want a Mortal Kombat 3 leg sweeper for real, because that's the fucking worst thing that you can ever say to someone. Like, I don't understand how you can even think that's okay. And of course, if the story went down like Rax said it did, how the fuck can a blind kid molest you in the dark if he can't even fucking see? But, that's obvious. This isn't it though. It's well documented that Rax is also a pedophile. This was famously confirmed from the Masshole Mafia sting, where Kate from Masshole would notice that Rax's actions towards the opposite gender resembled that of a sexual predator. Someone who would go for anyone with a vagina and a working brain. Honestly, probably wouldn't matter if she had a brain or not for Rax to want to fuck her. Let's be honest, But this revelation caused Kate to set up a sting where she played the role of a 14-year-old high school girl who was being bullied and needed a friend to talk to. Cyrax would take up the mantle of big brother figure and began messaging the decoy.
So I messaged him as a 14, almost 15-year-old girl named Crystal with a K. And the original reason for reaching out, per this troll, for lack of a better term, was because she was feeling bullied and suicidal, which is like what he talks about all the time. That is his purported mission statement on the internet, is to help people in this situation, which is actually pretty predatory when we get into how this shook out. So he immediately, as soon as he got the text, tried to call, which was creepy. And he starts this conversation. It starts out pretty normal, and I'm saying, lots of people are bullying me. I really feel down. They call me ugly and stupid and lots of mean names. And, he goes on to say, is it cool if I call you? So I say, my mom is almost done making dinner. Can you call me after dinner? So right off the bat, we're throwing up hints that this is probably a child, okay? And he just doesn't care.
In the messages, Kate clearly states that she's 14, saying, I will be 15 next month, and I have homework to do for school today.
So the conversation, he did ask her when she graduates high school. She responded, in 3 years, I'm a freshman. And that's pretty important because on the phone already, we've established now that she is a freshman in high school, which would make her 14 or 15 years old. So he is aware of that by the time we hang up. His phone dies, and then he starts texting again. So I ask him, do you want another picture of me or no? And he says, sure. And just know you definitely have someone here who understands what you're going through. And another picture of a very young girl. And he goes, no, you're not. You're cute. Hugs, right? Like, so we've established twice now, right? Very, very young girl in the pictures. Very young girl. She's doing homework. Her mom's making dinner. She's a freshman in high school.
In the messages, Rax acknowledges her age and still continues to talk to her, at one point even hilariously stating, I'm 30 but I look 14, which we all know he doesn't at all look 14. And if there is a 14-year-old out there who looks like Rax, then hang in there, man. Like, I know you're sick, but hopefully it's over soon. Jesus fucking Christ, that's dark. As the messages went on, it didn't take Rax long to turn left field into the flirtatious nature, and soon after right into the sexual nature like he does with any woman. The decoy says again that she's being bullied badly at school and she hates it. Cyrax took this as the perfect opportunity to cheer her up and proceeded to send pictures and videos of himself masturbating and squirting with his pickly bumpy penis, because that's how you cheer up a depressed bully victim, in his eyes at least.
Now is where it gets weird, right? So our vulnerable teenage decoy here is saying, I wish that someone would love me like real love, And he answers, somebody does already. So I'm trying to diffuse it, give him a little wiggle room, and I say, besides my family, I mean, like boyfriend, girlfriend love, I mean, I get lonely and so many people are so fake, And he goes, well, you're talking to that person, silly. The fuck?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Right.
So, oh God. I saw the video and I'm like.
Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, he knows he's talking to a freshman in high school, all that. So, he says, smiles and kisses you, which is also wicked fucking creepy. I ask him, how old are you, by the way? Just wondering. I know you asked me, but I didn't even ask back. And he goes, I just turned 30 in September, but I look 14. He does not. Okay, he's bald. Like,
right.
I've never seen a bald 14-year-old in my life. He does not fucking look 14.
Well,
but he knows this girl is 14.
You know what though? Chance, when he was a kid, was bald also.
Really? That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think there's a picture from when he was like 15, 16. He was bald, I think.
Well, then I take that back.
Yeah.
All right, it's still creepy. So here we go. Yeah. So he knows that I'm 14, allegedly. He believes I'm 14. He's established that he's 30. And here we go. This is where it gets weird. So right there, what we're seeing is a jerk-off video, which I'm not going to show, obviously. And so he sends the video and he immediately says, promise me you won't show anyone. So despite what he says about, being entrapped and all the stuff we're about to hear that he makes up excuses for, This indicates to me that he knows right from wrong, because he is sending jerk-off videos and then telling me, promise me you won't show anyone. I said, by the way, I will be 15 in May. I'm not too young at all. So now it is in text. And his response is, and it's all yours. What the fuck? Right. So I say I'm a virgin, but all my friends are losing theirs. And he goes, your turn, your turn, your turn, cuties.
This was the perfect evidence that Kate needed to prove her suspicions right and put Cyraxx on blast, which she quickly did. Shortly after being exposed, Cyraxx would then message the decoy saying that he made a huge mistake and can't talk to her anymore.
I got a Google stock image here. It came off Google. It was a woman with a small chest who is of age, just so that we're clear on that. But and he goes, I want you to do whatever you're okay with. So I send a picture and I say, do I look okay? And he goes, yes, smiley face, which is wicked fucking creepy. And then we're going to do another dick pic. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Right. So we get another dick pic. We established that we're local. I'm in Ohio. Then he pushes again, by the way, your turn, sexy. Right? Like, what the fuck? And how about that sexy ass? I ask, in a thong, and he goes, naked. So I look up another picture of a woman, again, that is of age, with some button badge shot that we're going to blank out. And I send it to him, and he immediately, within 10 minutes, goes, look, I'm sorry, I've made a huge mistake, and so have you, which is a fucked up thing to say to a kid you just exchanged nudes with.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked. Jesus Christ.
That's victim blaming. That's what, predators do, is they tell kids, like, we're both going to get in trouble, Like, fuck that. No, the kid didn't technically do anything wrong in that scenario. He goes, I made a huge mistake, and so if you please don't hate me or do anything, okay, please take my advice, though, and ignore those idiots. Okay, take care of yourself. And that's the end of the exchange. He immediately blocks the number.
Kate would then do a panel on her show exposing Rax to her audience, when Rax would show up and do what he does best. Scream obscenities, try not to let others talk, deflect, and get muted.
If that's where you want to go with this, then, oh, look who's here. How do you even get the link? So he says that, hi, Cyraxx.
Hi, bitch. What the fuck is your goddamn problem, you damn bag?
I don't really care for pedophiles.
Shut the fuck up. Why are you doing this shit? Oh, wait, I know. It's because you want me off the internet.
All right, Cyraxx, I do want you off the internet because you're unsafe to be around children. You are a sexual predator. And you need to calm down, ma'am. I don't think he even knows that he's muted right now.
Wow. Fucking wow. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Seriously. You know damn well you don't want me on the internet because you don't like me. So what do? You pretend to be a fucking 14-year-old and trap me knowing that I got fucking problems, bitch. Knowing that...
You're a pedophile, Chance, and you're a sexual deviant.
Right, yeah.
You don't belong on the internet. You belong in an institution, or at least in some serious clinical help.
Yeah, no, the reason that we don't want you on the internet is because you go after children. And send them your dick.
Cyraxx claimed that he was set up, which no shit, of course he was set up, that's what a setup is. But to him that means that it's not his fault, and had he not been set up he wouldn't have talked sexually to a minor. Which no, if you weren't sexually attracted to minors then you wouldn't have talked sexually to a minor, which is not hard to do, despite Minecraft YouTubers' track records. He then goes on to ask why Kate has something against him, and that she only did this to make him look bad because she doesn't like him. Everyone tells Rax that you don't need a reason to go after a predator other than the fact that they are a predator, which makes perfect sense.
Wow. Here's the deal, you dumb bag little bitch. One, you know damn well I did nothing to you to warrant what you fucking did. I didn't...
No, Chance, but you did send your dick to what you thought was a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah, her actions don't really need a reason. You're the one who took the bait. You're the one who sent your fucking penis and asked for nudes from a 14-year-old girl. There's no reason, anyone has to go after a predator except the fact that predators need to be exposed, and that's what you are.
Rax would then continue to deflect, say that he was tricked into sending pictures and scream in circles until my favorite part of the panel, where Kate asks a completely valid and thought out question as to how he was tricked, stating that she never asked for pictures or anything sexual whatsoever, meaning Cyrax initiated the pictures by his own accord.
Wow, you really think you're gonna get away with this shit, you bitch ass cunt?
Do you think you're going to?
See,
I want to
here's
show
your
you
deal,
something.
bitch.
Okay,
Here's your
okay.
problem, you fucking bitch. And don't you goddamn dare move me either. Because I want you to fucking hear this shit. What you
it's really
did,
important.
you know what you were doing. You know what the fuck you were doing. You know you didn't like me. So what do? You sit there and you fucking trick me. Everyone who knows me knows that I'm not a goddamn pedophile. You fucking tricked me into that shit.
Okay, Chance, but that's not what we're hearing from a lot of people that you are. So I'm showing right here, Chance, where you sent the dick pic, and as it turns out, nobody asked for it. So can you explain why you sent a jerk off video when it wasn't asked for, and how that is entrapment?
Oh, bitch, shut the fuck up.
This hilariously upset Kate's dog, which in Cyrax's malfunctioning rage-filled brain assumed the dog was trying to set him up as well, and he put it in his place.
For real, you sat there and pretended, knowing that I was going through enough already. You need to back off. For real, knock the shit off. You sat there and pretended and admitted on morning stream. No, shut the fuck up. You admitted on morning fucking stream that you don't like me. You admitted that shit, and then you would do whatever it took. Now because of you, I'm labeled as something I'm not. Which is bullshit! Because of you, I tried to take my...
Ma'am, you need to calm down, take a seat, okay? Seriously.
I like that he thought the dog barking was someone talking and he said, shut up.
He's actually...
Fucking idiot.
This is the moment that cemented a lot of fallouts with Cyrax and his acquaintances, and caused him to become more enraged. Rax would then flip-flop over the years from this situation, saying things like he did nothing wrong, then saying that he made a mistake and owned up to his wrongdoings, even though he never owned up to anything and still speaks with minors to this day. It's just his most well-known situation of it. Quick point of deviance, by the way, he also has the habit of whipping down his dookie-stained drawers and furiously tugging at his dick when he doesn't get his way on panel, while at the same time screaming that he's a well-adjusted person and not a sexual deviant. There's more to it, but you know, we all seen it. We've all seen it. We all know. Yeah. Anyways, this topic is a bit weird to determine who wins because both of these people are deplorable beings and are rapists who both know no boundaries and would do anything to justify their wrongdoings. So personally, I'm gonna give them both a point because in my mind, they're just as bad as each other, even though I know people will say Rax is worse considering he goes after children. But to me, a rapist is a rapist regardless of who they go after. So, you know, hopefully they both get an American History X treatment or some shit at some point in their life.
What is that? What did you have to eat? That smells amazing.
But there was another time where I actually did happen to be where I pooped my pants in public. It was just stress-induced and it couldn't be held. It just came out quick. I mean, it was a very uncomfortable ride home that day.
Oh shit, y'all guys are storming out. Gotta go. Love you guys.
This question on for size. Who chases and hugs Sonic all the time and wields a powerful hammer? Why, it's Amy Rose, of course.
It's pretty well known that Rax likes to use every derogatory word in the book when he gets slightly upset. There's no rhyme or reason as to what slur would come out of his mouth at any given time. Like him arguing with Blind Billy, Music Biz Marty, William Gloria Hole, CVG, etc. He just uses whatever. He just says these things haphazardly with no thought given to it. Now before we continue, I just want to say I personally don't care what someone on the internet says, and I can care less if someone says or. But something about Cyrax saying it does kind of just piss me off. Mainly just because he thinks he's beyond repercussions, so he says these very out there and wild things, and when someone shows up to confront him, he hides behind his family or calls the cops like a f***ing pig. And then after all is said and done, he goes back online claiming that said person never showed up, or pleading for the person to not show up at all. Now with Cyrax's obviously flawed brain, this begs the question, is Rax actually a hateful racist, or is he just and says whatever his ant-sized brain can muster up? Well, in my melanated opinion, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, of course this dude's racist, man. Listen to what he says, like, come on.
He does not. Suck my. Oh my God! Fuck you, loser. That shows you ain't a good businessman. That shows you ain't doing shit. You're a bitch. You don't hold up your end of the deal. Here, you want skull scratch? Here you go, nigger boy. Here you go, bitch.
Like I said, I say the N-word almost every day, and different versions of it at that, but I've never heard someone say
oh no
unironically, you know what I mean? I've only ever seen that in like movies like Rosewood and shit. It's also a difference when using these kind of words in like a hateful, upset manner, you know what I mean? Like he's going out with all the rage he can ever come out with, you know what I mean? He's trying to go Super Saiyan when he's saying these words. It's honestly quite crazy. Or for some reason he always states the person's race before saying something negative about them, which is just like a big sign that he's a racist. Or even one of my favorites where he randomly says that he had a black friend in high school, and I quote, he says, "Yeah, he was a black dude, but he always had my back." Like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, nobody brought up the guy's race. He could have just said, "Hey, I had a friend back in high school who always had my back." But you know, Cyrax, like I said, is a racist. I could go on and on about all these things Rax has said in regards to Jewish people, black people, or anyone who isn't like a flea-ridden, infested feral fucking ghoul. Now, Rax has a plethora of content out there that you can find of him saying slurs and being racist and stuff like that, so I really don't have to spend a lot of time on this topic with him. So let's move on to Christian. People love to reference old videos of Christian where he's like doing or saying questionable things about black people, such as his infamous anti-gay parody song using Uncle Ruckus's "Don't Trust Those There," which he titled "Don't Trust Those Homos Over There." Pretty clever, Chris, I like that.
Hello, my name is Uncle Ruckus, no relation. I'm gonna sing y'all a song I just made up. It's called "Don't Trust Any Homos Over There." Sing along if you know the words. Da 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 da. Don't trust any homos over there, leaving their homo stank in the air. Them sappy, flappy, dumb homos with their nigga finger on the trigger. Don't trust any homos over there.
Although this video was an attack on homosexuals, he opts to say the N-word for whatever reason, even though black people aren't the subject of this song. To this day, I still wonder why he said it in that instance, considering he could have easily just said gay, or if he really wanted to say a no-no word, he could have just said considering that was the subject of what he was talking about. But it's whatever. It's kind of funny, kind of cringe. He's fucking stupid. Next, there's the video he made for Jackie where he was manipulated into wearing blackface because Jackie told him that one of her favorite Dragon Ball Z characters was Mr. Popo, who is like Vanta Black Dark with luscious red lips, like those very old stereotypical caricatures of black people from the past. Now, if you aren't an anime Coomer consumer, Mr. Popo is the assistant of Kami, Earth's first shown Namekian guardian. Contrary to popular belief though, Mr. Popo is not based on a black person, rather he's based on the Indian goddess Kali, who is, please excuse me if I f this up, a form of Mahakali, the goddess of time, change, destruction, and power.
Ain't no sayings of the fiddle, no sayings of the fiddle like this. Ain't no sayings of the fiddle, no sayings of the fiddle like this. A song yo say wah wah, ho ho hey ya ho. A song yo say wah wah, ho ho hey ya ho. Ain't no sayings of the fiddle, no sayings of the fiddle like this. Ain't no sayings of the fiddle, no sayings of the fiddle like this. A song yo say wah wah, ho ho hey ya ho. A song yo say wah wah, ho ho hey ya ho.
Newcomers to Christory are still very confused when coming across this video and are quick to point out that he's indeed in blackface, which, like I stated, he's not. Now, even though he isn't in blackface, it still isn't a good idea to paint your face any color that's not like an animal or something like that, or some kind of cultural face paint, because odds are you might offend someone if you do. It also doesn't help that he's dancing and singing like a racist Disney cartoon from the 50s. Although it's hilarious, it's not a good look. And also, people, go out there and travel, learn about other cultures, bruh. People should know that Mr. Popo's not black at this point, but I still see it everywhere. Oh, that motherfucker black. Akira Toriyama racist. Bruh, come on now. Y'all act like he's not black. He's a god. He's based off of Kali. Now in the past, it's well known that Chris had reoccurring outbursts of racism while at the gameplays and was fearful of the black patrons, thinking they would steal his things, causing him to hide his belongings whenever they are around. Whenever Chris would battle one of the black kids who frequented the gameplays in a friendly match of Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh!, RIP Kazuki Takahashi, something that Chris prided himself on being a master in, he would scream and shout obscenities if he lost to one. Probably something along the lines of what Frieza would say after losing to a Saiyan.
Just start procreating left and right! It's a damn springtime for monkeys!
Years later, while trying to be unbanned from the gameplays, he confronted the now owner of the gameplays, Michael Schneider, pleading with him to let Chris back into the establishment.
Hello, Michael. I see you're looking well. Haven't changed much since for the past almost 2 years. And yeah, it has been almost 2 years since what happened June 2008. But I came back hoping that we could put that behind us, and come on. I mean, it has been almost 2 years, and this has been on my mind for so long. Just be can we just forgive and forget? Come on, to have this weight on my back.
After Mr. Snyder gave him a firm no, something his parents never did, Chris was distraught and began to get upset. Michael then told Chris that he needed to leave, and as he left, he said,
and I have really missed coming here.
No. You need to leave now.
I'm a better person.
You need to leave now.
Come on, dude.
No. You need to leave now.
How can you be so heartless? I mean, you're obviously not as mean as one of those trolls I've been dealing with.
You need to leave now.
I mean, come on. I mean, obviously you had something against me, aside from the Wii incident. I just would like to know what. Come on. Give me a break. Alright, fine, I'll leave. But I hope that God will forgive you for being so heartless and cruel, Michael Snyder. You!
Eric Cartman would be very proud, Chris. When it comes to those of Asian descent, mostly Chinese and Japanese people, Chris portrays them as the stereotypical kung fu loving, anime loving, slanty-eyed people, also claiming that Chinese and Japanese people look and sound the same. If you ever heard Japanese, Chinese, or even Korean, you can quickly hear the difference if you actually care to, and of course the characters of each language are completely different from one another as well. This doesn't stop Chris from his racially insensitive comments and characters he puts into his comic books, such as Punchy Sonic Shoe. Punchy is a member of the Chaotic Combo who was formed from eggs and raised in a dojo. What kind of eggs are we talking about here? Okay. Chris states that Punchy is not actually Asian and that the eyes were a botched attempt at emulating Knuckles' furrowed brow. Either way, it's a shitty drawing of Knuckles that Chris called something else because he wanted to be original. But if you just look at it, it's just Knuckles with fucked up eyes. Now there are some instances where Chris would say racially inflamed comments about minorities on his social media page, such as Facebook, where at one point in 2012, I believe, Chris would post a photo of a black woman at McDonald's who he said discriminated against him and demanded people not go there, and that they, and I quote, throw newspaper in the damn old bitchy black woman's face. That's fucking wild. Or when he called Lars, Jackie's boyfriend, which was just Liquid Chris speaking in a poor rendition of Ebonics. Chris understands that he's speaking with a lower level life form, and so he decides to dumb down his own speech and speak Ebonics with him, and refer to himself as a nigga to seem more relatable.
Oh no, dropped out halfway through 7th grade and shit. That's a cross I have to bear and shit. Damn.
Yeah.
I've been trying to go to high school and shit. Ain't no niggas in the school system be wanting no niggas up in their classroom. Y'all be playing kick the niggas and shit? Shit ain't gangster. They be straight busters and shit. Fucking. Y'all know about getting tormented and shit, ain't you? Hear that?
You just be all afraid of me and shit like that. And plus, also, I've had past accusations of quote unquote soliciting when I was out in my early days in my sweetheart search, looking for a woman of my own, be using a sign like, you know, I'd be like, current 8-year-old man, looking for an 18 to current 8-year-old woman, be my sweetheart and junk. And they'd be misinterpreting it. They'd think I'd be looking for just for the booty call. But no, I ain't looking just for the booty call. I'm looking for the long run, the emotional attachments and everything. They just misunderstand me. They handcuffed me a number of times. They handcuffed me a couple of times. They dragged me around. And they even dog pound me one time, rubbed my head on the carpet. I've been bleeding out left side of my forehead that day. Put me in the dang cop car, and I get examined by the ambulance where they see that blood-soaked stain, wound from that carpet burn on the left side of my forehead there.
Alright, nigga. You get out down with your dead self. Shit. Got my finger on the trigger. Niggas wonder why. Living in the city, it's do or die, nigga. Y'all feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know y'all feel me. Y'all be my nigga. Shit. Who my nigga, dog?
I'm your nigga.
I know there's a lot more of examples and stuff like that, but with these examples and even the rest, in my opinion, I don't believe Chris is inherently racist. Rather, I think he's just a lost, ignorant man-child who had to listen to his father's bigoted ramblings all day, and then, you know, watching old, outdated, stereotypical shows that only depicted minorities in a certain way, and of course watching South Park and Family Guy and being too fucking naive and stupid to discern the messages and jokes from these shows. Famously, his anti-gay rhetoric came from Family Guy. Also, himself being in the closet. Alright, so for episode 2, it appears we have a tie here. I didn't know that when I made this list. It's kind of hard to find similarities between these two in my brain because like I've been just fucking delving into this stuff and I don't even know, they just blends all together. I'm not gonna do a tiebreaker though, because I'm tired. And this video's long as shit anyways. See you in the next episode. You know what, fuck it, dance battle. Who's the better dancer? Who's the better dancer? They both hitting the chick. You pick in the comments, I don't care. I care a little bit. Fuck it. Check out my songs. I make songs about racks.
Skirt out the dealership with a Ferrari. If I see you got a copy. All these trolls stopping my profit. I ain't gonna lie, I'm stuck in a closet, sipping this sludge and making me vomit.
And I want to do other Lolcows, but I can't do their voices. How's my Chris Chan? I'm particular. I can't do it, dude. I want to do Elliot Roger too, but I can't do that one. Fucking what's the other one? Oh, Lorne. Cod. I can't do their voices, man. I can only do Raxus just being raspy. Whatever. Check out the music. Thank you. Peace.